Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 21st January 2017. The first article is about jallikattu, that is a catching a sport by its horns. Here we see what is jallikattu, legal issues surrounding the same, and then what are the arguments in favor and against this sport, what shall be our conclusion. Now, this article has specifically focused on issues of or literary sources of jallikattu. But remembering all these literary sources is not very much required for this exam. So let's try to understand the concept of jallikattu itself. Jallikattu is a traditional bull taming sport organized in Tamil Nadu during Pongal festival. It is very much prominent in districts of Madurai, Tiruchirappalli, Pudukkottai. These are the areas. Now, there are strong cultural emotions associated with this sport, and it is cited to be 2000 years old by various Tamil texts. In this case, the legal fight against Jallikattu goes back to 1991. In 1991, Environmental Ministry, it has issued a notification that has banned training and exhibition of animals for performance. Now, initially dogs, monkeys, tigers, panthers, bears, these are being banned as performing animals. Now, at that point of time itself, circus companies have challenged this in the Delhi High Court, but they did not get a favorable treatment. In 2011, Environmental Ministry with a fresh notification included the bulls as, or else included the bulls in this list. It means that one cannot train and exhibit bulls as the performing animals. It means that bulls cannot be used for jallikattu or cart races, bullock cart races in the villages of Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So that is what the 2011 notification has briefly stated. This was challenged in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has upheld the notification given by the Environmental Ministry in 2014. And it clearly stated that jallikattu involves an inherent act of cruelty to animals. Along with this, it also have given 5 freedoms of animals. What are these 5 freedoms? Freedom from hunger, thirst and malnutrition, freedom from fear and distress, freedom from physical and thermal discomfort, freedom from pain, injury and disease, and freedom to express normal patterns of behavior. So these are the 5 rights which are being recognized by the courts for the animals. And further to this, it has stated that the rights of the animals shall be elevated to constitutional rights, and it recommended the same for the parliament. It means that it has unequivocally placed the rights of the animals over the cultural argument of jallikattu. So, further to this, in 2016, Tamil Nadu has filed a review petition on the same, and the Supreme Court did not admit that. And January 2016, the central government has given a new notification, and it has allowed for the jallikattu sport. But it clearly stated that it has to be performed in a regulatory environment without causing any harm to the animals. It was quite contradiction to the judgment given by the Supreme Court and the rights determined by the Supreme Court for the animals. And Supreme Court has imposed a stay on the matter when the PETA has challenged this 2016 notification in the court. So you know that what is the PETA is for. The People for Ethical Treatment to Animals. Now, this is where the things stand. So, the Supreme Court is about to give the judgment in this week, and on the request of the government of India, it has reserved its judgment, deferred its judgment by a week. So, what are the arguments in favor or against to jallikattu? The first is the cultural argument. The jallikattu is a village sport and it reflects the village culture, and also it has its origins in the Dravidian or else Tamil identity, or it has a history of 2000 years and it aligns with the Tamil culture and life. And the people who rear the animals for jallikattu, it is just a pride for them. There is a political economy of agriculture also involved over here. If you see these areas, these have drought. So in these cases, these animals and their power is shown as to explain the quality of the cattle breed to the future buyers. And the second thing is, a farmer faces the uncertainties of environment, and taming a bull is an answer to such uncertainties. What exactly I mean is, it's a symbolic gesture where a man is fighting the uncertainties which is with his valor. That's what is the jallikattu signifies if you take the whole text into consideration. And next is, what is the Animal Welfare Board argument? So there is a huge harm caused to the bulls over here, and they showed with the pictures to the court on this matter. Animal Welfare Board of India is a statutory body and it has to protect the Act Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. And it has argued that there was no cultural significance to this particular sport. And let's see it from the rights perspective. So constitutionally it is argued that this is part of the culture and identity of the Tamils, and their cultural rights have to be protected as part of fundamental rights. Now, if you see it from the ethical dimension, the biocentric ethics versus anthropomorphic vision of the rights. The court has taken the biocentric view of the rights. Every living being on this earth shall have the rights of its own. Based on this, it has pronounced the 5 freedoms to the animals. Now, anthropomorphic vision of the rights, what it says is, the rights are the reflection of the values and culture of a given society. If you take anthropomorphic view of the rights, yes, our cultural rights in the constitution reflects and protects jallikattu. But if you take the biocentric ethics, yes, the court's argument and court's judgment in 2014 can be upheld. And let's take it from the political view. You know that Dravidian national movement was very much stronger, and identity politics are much stronger in Tamil Nadu. So in this context, any issue related to the Tamil identity is a huge sentimental issue over there. So political parties always come together and they vehemently or they very ferociously safeguard the rights of the people over there. So this can be the political explanation to this. And caste is also an inherent factor over here. So the jallikattu is generally played by the agrarian communities like Tewars and Marawars. And jallikattu is one of the few markers of their social standing, and it is an identity of them in the fast changing world. And these yield a huge political clout and economic clout in Tamil Nadu. And a rural argument is this. The rural distress is increasing in Tamil Nadu, especially in these regions where jallikattu is progressing. So jallikattu is more like a lightering rod of a spectrum of issues the farmers are facing. So jallikattu has given them an opportunity to express their views and their passion for and anguish over the rural distress which is going on. And over and above that, so the jallikattu is a cultural manifestation of or a political and cultural manifestation of this particular anguish that is existing in the rural India in Tamil Nadu. So, from modernity view, we can say it as it is an expression of the village community and rural community of its identity over growing urbanization and modernization. So these are the arguments we can see in favor and against of jallikattu. But what will be the view which can you shall be carried in your interview or the exam? It is like this. I express it as this way. The culture is bound to change over years. And as we evolve, we need to protect our identity. At the same time, we also have to ensure the rights of the living beings have to be protected. So the jallikattu, yes, can be allowed, but it has to be well regulated so that no harm comes to humans or animals. And the second thing is, the sport itself is played only by few castes and few castes are excluded from the same. So the sport shall be made inclusive in the village societies. So these are the two things we can express as our opinions on this issue. And living in a hotter world, this 2016 is regarded as the hottest year. That is a clear symbol for growing climate change. These numbers indicate the climate change is real. And these are the 3 consecutive years which are hottest recorded in the history. And the President Trump has dismissed climate change as a hoax. But however, melting ice in the poles, Arctica and Antarctica, raising ocean sea levels, hottest summers, all these imply that the climate change is for real. There is an effort is being put forward by the world leaders to bring in Paris climate change deal, and the spirit of this deal shall not die down. And India also has to fulfill its commitments, and its focus on the renewable energy shall continue, and its threats for the 100 gigawatts of the solar energy shall move forward. And its National Solar Alliance, International Solar Alliance, which Prime Minister has pledged, the action need to be taken forward. If not, developing countries, coastal regions, which are hubs of the economic activity, will be worst affected because of this climate change. Now, a deserved commutation. It is about Miss Manning, whom President Obama has commuted her sentence. She is responsible for leaking vital information to the WikiLeaks, which has caused the diplomatic uncomfort to United States of America. Under Official Secrets Act, she was being punished. And America, as a country preaching for freedom of speech and expression, it curtailing the freedom of its own citizens did not send the right signal to the global community. So, in this context, the President Obama's commuting of the sentence to Ms. Manning is a good sign. Now, coming to cash flow situation is improving fast. It is Patel. Now, with regard to the jallikattu, the Supreme Court has agreed to defer its judgment by a week. So, in this context, the Supreme Court, does it need to bend to the popular uprising? Can the rule of law can be subdued for popular sentiments? These are the questions that are being posed to the court today. So there are two arguments here. One of the argument is the government has to take the popular opinion into cognizance before taking the judgment. And the courts also have a responsibility to make sure that the situation in the country do not go out of control. And now, if the courts are listening to the popular movement, what will happen to the rule of law is the second question which has been posed over here. Now, I have given the notes over here, and also I have prepared a special notes on the jallikattu. So, I will try to post it on the website lax.in/civilsprep. Or I will make a separate video on jallikattu so that video and the topic can be simultaneously studied. Now here the question in the UPSC will not be on jallikattu, but it will be more on the issues related to judiciary. So how the executive and judiciary relationship has to be. And in this context, you can quote the jallikattu as an example. And the second for the prelims, the PETA as an organization is very much in news. Animal Welfare Board of India is in news. And then Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 is in the news. Try to go through that. the performing animals, etc. So then you can have a good question on the prelims on that area. So thank you very much and all the best.